ever hold the McCaskies accountable for a franchise that has been in turmoil and been dysfunctional for decades.
You still have not answered the
It's
question.
because an elderly woman was at the helm.
Smalls, I just want to know, at what point do we stop blaming Virginia McCaskey for the ineptitude of the Chicago Bears? Like, if they're bad this year, do we still blame Virginia McCaskey?
Well, how old is George?
Yeah, she held on too long.
Yeah.
The team can't get right.
Come on, Smalls.
She's still hovering over the franchise.
Her spirit, her essence.
I'm just asking, how long are we going to continue to blame Virginia McCaskey for the Bears?
Well, I don't think we can now, Steve, but I think Bears fans woke up this morning and they're feeling a little confident because the Pope is on
more
their side.
confident because of the Pope, or more confident because the Virginia McCaskey is not running the team?
I think
or not
the Pope.
around?
I think the Pope, because if you're a Bears fan, you think you may need divine intervention in order for your franchise to find the light.
That. You absolutely need that. Maybe he can help you get your quarterback developed.
That's right. Maybe Caleb Williams can get an audience with the Pope.
Ooh.
And the Pope could do like a special one-on-one blessing for the quarterback of Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, since the Pope is passing out blessings for sports teams, he needs to do one for the Golden State Warriors.
That's right.
Yeah,
wow. Is that telling us to transition now?
They need that.
They really do.
They on their last rights right now.
I'll tell you what.
They on their last rights.
Anthony Edwards, that ankle is blessed because, man.
You know what, Smalls? You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because Anthony Edwards looked like he got shot by somebody on the grass. You know the way that man went down. I mean, he was hobbling off the court like they needed assistance, and then he came back bouncing around in the second half, catching alley. Wait a minute, dog. It can't be both ways. You can't have an injury that makes it look like you're going to be out the rest of the game, and then you catch alley-oops and dunking on fools. It can't be both ways, man. A little dramatic from Ant-Man.
He was better when he came back.
That's what I'm saying.
He scored 13 of his 20 points, 4 for 6 shooting after halftime, and grabbed 5 of his 9 rebounds. He was unbelievable after he came back from
Jackson
injury.
Davis fixed the jumper by stepping on his ankle.
So what are we saying happened? Ant-Man had to go to the bathroom? What are we saying?
I don't know what happened. But
he's like, oh, God, I got to pee. I got to get out of here.
Think about it when LeBron James rolled up on it. It looked bad in real time. I was like, man, I don't know if Anthony Edwards is going to play the rest of the playoff. Comes back in the game.
Right.
This injury happens, I think it was the second quarter. Ant-Man comes back in the third quarter. Like, I just...
Well, especially because, as you mentioned, that ankle was compromised after Game 4, so a lot of people thought, oh, boy, here we go. This is going to be a problem. But no, he came back, and he was better than ever, ready to go.
Come on, Ant-Man. Like, you putting a little bit on there, a little too much sauce on this one.
That's your favorite player. So
he is my favorite player.
Make the proclamation and declaration. What actually happened? Did he have an ankle injury? Did he use the ankle injury to go pee? What happened with Anthony Edwards last night?
I think he was more scared than hurt.
It's like, wow, this feels weird. I got to get this checked out immediately.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it feels like that with Ant-Man with those injuries. Now, listen, man, when LeBron James at 265 pounds barrels into your leg, you're scared. When you're landing after trying to drive for a layup and somebody lands on the ankle that you're planting on coming down, you're scared. And it felt like Ant-Man in real time was more. It felt like it was something seriously wrong. But then seeing him come back and bouncing around like that,
fine.
And looking like he was seemingly fine, like it felt like he was more scared than hurt when it came to that incident yesterday.
No question. There's a whole Draymond conversation that we're going to have here because he made some headlines after the game last night, to say the least. But the Warriors, obviously not the same team without Steph Curry. Not exactly breaking news there. Minnesota was great last night. Warriors were led by Jonathan Kuminga with 18. Jimmy Butler had 17. That's something to keep an eye on. Playoff Jimmy. Jimmy Butler, in my mind, is a Hall of Fame player. Jimmy Butler on the court when he's invested in playing is actually one of the most unselfish players around and tries to get everybody involved. I know they're a system team, so to speak, and I don't mean that as an insult. I mean that as a compliment. Yeah, he's got to become the system if they're going to win without Steph Curry, because right now, if we're going to be real, the team he left is better than the team he's on without Steph Curry. And the team that he was on was better because he was the team offensively. He took over in these moments. They have no shot of winning if Jimmy Butler scores under 30 points. And he had 17. He's got to take over. And I'm not putting this on Steve Kerr fully. I know Steve Kerr is, wants to empty, like the kitchen sink basically is the mentality. Bless you. The kitchen sink is like, okay, we're going to play. Trace that. I swear to you, I forgot Trace Jackson Davis was on the team. And he was great in his rookie season out of nowhere. I forgot he was on the team.
He was good last night.
Oh, he was great last night. But I'm saying they're dusting off. Spencer, come on in. I know you're a lacrosse player. Who cares? You, get in there. They're going to play everybody till they figure it out.
If I was in the arena, I would have gotten it.
100%. 100%.
Steve Kerr played 14 guys in the first half.
But
it's a record.
But Jimmy's got to prevent that. Jimmy's got to be so good.
So dominant.
That, no, we're not playing 14 guys. Just put the 4 around me that are best with me, which obviously Hield is one of them. But he's got to be playoff Jimmy. And I don't know that he is that outside of when he's the focal point of the offense. Was he playoff Jimmy in Philly?
They didn't let him be playoff Jimmy in Philly. They wanted it to be Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid.
Right.
They didn't let it get down to playoff Jimmy.
So the question becomes, and I'm not trying to make this just about the team that I root for, but it is a fair question. Is playoff Jimmy a thing with Jimmy with that team, or is it in general? Because if it's not in general, they got no shot.
So you think playoff Jimmy is specific to
when he's the best player and
when
the focal
he's playing
point.
with the Heat? Because they allowed him or the offense to run through him in that way.
Let me do it this way to be fair. Let's not even make it about the Heat. When Jimmy Butler is clearly the best offensive player and the focal point of the offense, and the offense is designed for Jimmy Butler, that's when playoff Jimmy came about. Because that was not the way in Chicago. Yeah. Derrick Rose was there. Yeah. It wasn't. Minnesota was such a short period of time, but it really wasn't that way because they had Cat and Wiggins.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that way in Philly, as you just pointed out, and it's certainly not that way in Golden State. The only place where he's been the focal point was his previous stuff.
Yeah, and listen, I think Jimmy Butler has to take more shots than he took last night, right? Like, that's not going to get it done when you have Jimmy Butler out there taking 13 shots. He's got to be more aggressive, but more aggressive doesn't mean Jimmy Butler having to score 40. I think more aggressive means Jimmy Butler being able to find a way to facilitate the others and get them more involved early. And I thought that Golden State did find something with the lineup that they had with Buddy Hield, Brandon Podziemski, Draymond Green, and Jonathan Kuminga. Remember, in the regular season, Kuminga didn't really get a lot of run with Jimmy Butler because Steve Kerr wanted Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry to play together.
Right.
And they realized that all 3 of those guys on the court just doesn't make sense. But now with Steph out for the next 2 games, maybe they get more run with Butler and Kuminga in the lineup along with those other guys. So those 5 players in the lineup, Butler, Hield, Podziemski, Green, and Kuminga, they were plus 8 in 11 minutes. So maybe that's a formula that they use moving forward. But I think it's about Jimmy Butler being able to get the others involved, being able to create open looks for other guys so they can get going earlier, because that's exactly what Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards did.
He's great.
At the start of the game, Julius Randle, penetrate, kick, got 2 wide open threes, Jaden McDaniels, Mike Conley Jr., and then Ant-Man throwing the alley-oop to Jaden McDaniels. Those were the first 8 points for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and everybody rolled last night offensively. After shooting performance over the past 2 games where they were 12 of 76 from three-point land. So, like, them being able to, the Stars being able to get the others involved earlier in the game makes it a lot easier for the Stars to get their shots later in the game. That's what Jimmy Butler has to do with Steph Curry out for the Golden State Warriors.
Only 5 free throws for Jimmy, and that's, he's got to get the line. By the way, very clear. I know we got a break, but Neapolitan, grandma style, New York style, Detroit style, St. Louis style, I take all over Chicago style pizza. I'm just saying. Like, I don't even know if it's top 5. Just saying. I'm just saying. Sorry, Chicago. I just got the job